The internet is getting on my nerves. I don't know why, but it seems like every time, the first time that I go live, it cuts out on me. Now, usually the second try is fine, but that first try always cuts out on me. But I get lost. I know it's coming, but I get lost in my train of thought, and then all of a sudden it freezes, internet out. All right, let's get back on track here. Hopefully, everybody comes back. We were talking about the national championship. So, Ohio State having COVID issues, and they're saying that a specific group of players, I'm not sure if it's the offensive line, wide receivers, defensive line, whatever, might not have to field on enough to field. There we go. So, coincidentally, last week the CFB, College Football Playoff Committee, CFP, announced a backup date just in case. Look, not throwing shade on COVID. That's just something you can't do right now, okay? But the obvious is it does seem a little coincidental that the backup date was announced last week and the COVID issue happened this week. I don't know. But as of yesterday, Ohio State was giving the thumbs up, saying we're ready to play on January 11th. Either way, the national championship is going to happen. So I'm not really worried about that. It's what day and what are we going to see. And like I talked about yesterday, there's three scenarios that I see. In two of those scenarios, Alabama wins. Prediction video coming out tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. But here's the three scenarios that I see. Alabama's elite. In other words, what we've seen all year pretty much. They kind of had a bump against Florida, but their elite play, seen it all year, versus Ohio State's elite play. We've only seen that once, and that was against Clemson. So Alabama elite versus Ohio State elite. I think Alabama wins in a close score. I just think Alabama's better than Ohio State. That's in that scenario. In the second scenario, Alabama's elite shows up, what we've seen all year, and Ohio State's good but not great play shows up. In other words, what we've seen the rest of the year besides the Clemson game. So if that matchup happens or shows up, Alabama big. The only way that I see Alabama winning is if Alabama doesn't play the way they've been playing. I think Ohio State has to bring their elite game no matter what. But they also have to hope that Alabama doesn't bring their elite game as well. Because I think Alabama's elite game is better than Ohio State's elite game. So that probably gives you a suspicion of what my prediction video is going to be. But I still haven't given you a score. So you don't know that much yet. That's going to come out tomorrow. Glad some of y'all found me again. WVU highlights giving out a score prediction: Ohio State 49, Alabama 48. I can't totally disagree with that. NCAA Short says I think West Virginia either wins by 3, talking about Texas West Virginia on Saturday basketball, or I think West Virginia either wins by 3, loses by 9, or loses by 20. That's how West Virginia basketball works. Yes, it is. C-Dog says, GBD, that's me, is like 0-7 against the internet. It kills me, guys, and it's because of daggum big corporate guys not running lines to my house. We live on a side road, not many people, and it's not worth the money that they would have to invest to run lines. So I have stupid, horrible satellite internet. That's even worse. So at least I can use a hotspot, and that's still not great, but it's better than satellite internet. That is awful. But yeah, C-Dog, I think it's more like 0-9. I think my math says 0-9, but close. You're close. Sports Prod says, hey, does that prod stand for prodigy? I think I just now got that. Sports Prodigy. Kind of like that. Ohio State won't be able to handle Alabama's offense, especially since they're getting Waddle back. That is a great productions. Dude, it should be Prodigy, man. I like Prodigy, Sports Prodigy. Like, you're the sports prodigy. I don't know, man. That's just think about it, okay? Maybe you've had sports production and you love it. That's fine. I get it, but just think about prodigy. I like that. I really do. All my other hey, this just happened, guys. This situation just developed, okay? So I want to see some votes on this. Whether he changes it or not, that's up to him. So give your votes. Do you like sports production better or do you like sports prodigy better? Sorry, it just happened. I mean, these things sometimes come out of nowhere. So let's take a vote. I'm going to go ahead and put in my vote real quick. Don't know how many votes we're going to get, but it's still fun. So I think that's how you spell it. So there's the first vote. That's me, Prodigy. Vote Prodigy or Productions. Do y'all like sports, Prodigy, or Productions? This is awesome. Prodigy. Telling you, man. I'm telling you, it's a good one. C-Dog says, can I ask what camera you use? I've been trying to get into making videos, and I've just been using my phone, but the quality sucks. Your pictures look nice, and I value recommendations. Well, for my live, I use a Logi, Logi, however you say that. It's just a 1080p. Believe it or not, for my videos, not my lives, I actually use my phone, my Samsung. It's what's the I can't remember the name. It's the newest one, but it is really good. And I downloaded KineMaster, which is a type of editing things. It's easy. That's how I get the different graphics and the animation and all that stuff. It's very simple. You learn as you go, and you figure things out. You go, oh, I didn't know it could do that, and it's so easy. Some things, fun story, or not fun story, but a story. The new intro that y'all have seen, it's what, 15, 20 seconds long, if that. Took me 4 hours to make. And it's not because the app that I use is difficult to use. It's because there's like 127 logos in that last 10 seconds. The first two shots was easy. It was the logos popping up that took forever. Because I have every logo of every FBS team in college football. But what I had to do is I had to shrink those and place it in the space and make sure there's enough space for everybody, and then time it to where they popped up at the right time and stayed up. So that's what took so long. That daggum app is amazing, but man, that intro was some work. So I'm hoping that y'all like that intro much better than my old intro because it took a lot of work. Everybody's saying Prodigy. Sports Prod says Prodigy sounds better, but I've had it for a while. See, that's what I was thinking. I figured you had the name for a while. I was just trying to get a little feedback on my other subscribers and see what they think. Because for some reason, as soon as I said it out of my mouth, Sports Prodigy, I was like, dang, that's not bad at all. I mean, that almost sounds familiar. But he also says, I've been thinking about changing it to Sports Oh, what? Wait. I've been thinking about changing it to Sports Productions. But I thought you said it already was Sports Production. With an S. No, it said S up there. Dude, I'm confused. Up there you said it is Productions, and in that one you said you're thinking about changing it to Productions. So, yeah. I don't know. C-Dog says, thanks for the advice. You're the man. I don't think I'm the man, but I'm just going to give you my opinion. Hopefully one day I'll be the man. That would be sweet. That intro is sick, by the way. Worth the effort. I love the intros with all the teams. That's what I was hoping to see because that did take a lot of effort. So as long as you guys like it, it was worth it. That's what I was. Oh, then Jim says I still prefer the old intro. Man, I was way up here, man. Way up here. And that old intro took like 20 minutes. I don't know, man. Jim's a good guy, though. I like him. Mountaineer fan, did you like the West Virginia versus Army game. Did I like it? I mean, yeah, but I don't think West Virginia played their best game. Daggy was having some major issues. Even when Austin Kendall did come in, he didn't do all that great. He just didn't turn the ball over, and now he's in the transfer portal. So yeah, I don't think he was the future of West Virginia at all. I think they won the starting position and then just had issues. Sports Part says it is, but I'm just thinking about putting productions instead of prod. Oh! I see what you're saying. So in the title that we see, you're thinking of adding it to it. I wouldn't do that. And here's why, because that leaves a little bit of a mystery. I like the sports prod. See the conversation that it just created. So if you're not going to change it to Prodigy, which I still think you should, keep your name with the dot. I like that. That keeps some mystery. That literally created a conversation live on my show. So this is just my opinion. Don't add the whole name to it. If it stands for Productions, that's fine, but keep it at Prod. Period. That makes people think. I like that. W Highlight says, hold, I'll be back. I have a new name. Oh, okay. Okay, for YouTube. I see what you're saying. Timothy Kelchner. Whenever I saw your name the first time, I was like, Jake the Snake Kelchner for the 1993 West Virginia undefeated season. So I really like your name because it reminds me of a quarterback that we had in 93. Here we go. W Highlights changed his name to West Virginia's Prodigy. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Sorry, Sports Prod. If you were thinking about the Prodigy, it is now officially taken. But don't add the rest of that name. Keep that dot. It keeps a shroud of mystery over your name. So there you go. And of course, West Virginia's Prodigy says, I'm the Prodigy of West Virginia. So there you go. We have all met the Prodigy of West Virginia right here on my channel. How lucky am I to have West Virginia's Prodigy as a subscriber? That's amazing, ain't it? Man, I feel blessed. I am blessed. C-Dog says, GBD, you should do a stream yard. That would be fun. I've been thinking about doing that because that's how that's what yeah, you just answered my question. That's what me and Hurricane T2Y do. Whenever we do a live show, we do it through that. I don't know if the internet's strong, but you won't know unless you try it. So I am going to try it and we'll see. Here is the big name chance. LOL. Timothy Catcher says, yeah, people always ask if I'm a distant cousin. I'm always like, probably not, but you never know. See? I'm telling you, if you're in West Virginia and people see that name and people are old enough, Jake Kelchner, because West Virginia don't go undefeated that much. 93, that was a famous team just because we went undefeated. We got smacked by Florida in the Sugar Bowl, but I still think West Virginia should have went to the national championship. We did the work. We beat a very, very good top 10 Miami team at home. And we got denied again. Once again, one game away from the national championship. We did get to it in 88, but we got beat by Notre Dame because Major Harris went down with injury. Anyways, so yeah, that I was talking about the national championship and the three different ways it could happen. Alabama's best versus Ohio State's best. Alabama wins in the close game. Alabama's best against Ohio State's what we've seen all year except for Clemson. Alabama blows them out. And then, of course, the only way that I see Ohio State winning, and I know I have a lot of Ohio State fans. Y'all ain't going to like this, but, I mean, it's a possibility. But the only way I see Ohio State winning is Alabama not playing up to what we've seen. Ohio State brings their A game. And Alabama maybe brings their B- C+ game. Sorry, I just think Alabama's a better team. What we saw Ohio State do against Clemson, they will have to take it a step further and still hope that Alabama doesn't quite play as good as we've seen them. But that chip on the shoulder is a big thing. You know, they've taken it to heart, and we'll see. That's all I'm saying. Jim says, didn't mean to bring you down, but you asked, and I don't want to lie to you. That's what I like, Jim. Like, me and you have had this conversation. I wasn't trying to make you feel guilty. I was really just trying to be funny. So yeah, don't feel like you need to kiss my rear end. That's not what I want. Y'all need to let me know what you think. If you think I'm wrong about something, if you like what I say, the intro, like I've said a million times, the intro says it all. Agree with me, trash talk with me. In other words, join in with me, or trash talk to me when you disagree. Either way, you're going to enjoy this channel. And that's what it's all about. It's not trying to go around and please each other and kiss everybody's rear end. It's, being honest. And that's, nobody's ever right. And that's where conversation comes from. If you're just going around kissing everybody's rear end, then that's boring. We want good conversations. We want to, sharpen each other. Let's see. Togus Pit says, okay, I'm back. Oh, I didn't even know you were gone. Is that... sorry. I mean, I'm not trash talking you. I just didn't know you were gone. Prodigy. Togus Pit, I only like you because you like Golden Blue Dude, but the Pitt Panthers, really? He can't help what fan base he was born into. That's the way I look into things. Just like we were born into the West Virginia fan base, and I'm sure he's like, oh my gosh, I like this channel, but why does it have to be a West Virginia channel? Even though the majority of my videos are not West Virginia, to be honest with you. I do some whenever there's a game and all that stuff, but really I like all college football. Pitt says, by the way, Pitt beats Georgia Tech by 14 points, 34-20. That's fair enough. Sports Pride. I wonder if Ohio State left it all. Here it is. Here's the comment. I wonder if Ohio State left it all on the field for Clemson and they don't have anything for Bama. That's what I've been saying. How much does Ohio State have left in the tank? And would postponing it a week allow them to regain some of that? Because that was the best game all season long that they had against Clemson. Whether Clemson played their A game or not is irrelevant. What we saw from Ohio State was their best game. So, yes, that is the question. Can they duplicate it? Can they take it a notch higher? Because, like I said, I think Alabama is better than Clemson. So, if Ohio State wants to beat Alabama at their best, because I think Alabama will be even more than 100% because Waddle's coming back. So they're going to have to take a step up if they have any chance of beating the best of Alabama. And that's why I keep saying that really the only hope for Ohio State is that Alabama is off for whatever reason. Or maybe their defense has issues, just like Clemson's defense. That could happen as well. Prediction video, score prediction, all that stuff coming out with it tomorrow. Let's see. C-Dog says, Sports Prod, I think that is the most likely scenario. The championship might be boring like last year, but who knows? Yeah. He also says maybe they have that underdog mentality. And that's an underrated thing when it comes to any type of championship. Talkus Pitt says, the same Pitt Panthers who beat y'all in the backyard. Man, why do you... Really? Really? Just like Timothy just said, man, don't bring back bad memories. Like, literally, as soon as you say that, my mind is there. Like, it's in that moment. Let's get away from that. C-Dog says, Pitt, I guess you didn't see the game, but it was one-score game, all game, until the rest gave... Oh, gosh, dude. I was with... C-Dog, I was with you until you started talking about the refs. Honestly, Pitt was the better team this year. That's all you have to say. Pitt was the better team this year. We'll get y'all next year. Don't start saying the ref thing. The only time I use the ref thing is West Virginia basketball when we play at Kansas, because literally that's the only time where it's that obvious where they actually influence the game. Other than that, you kind of got to stay away from the ref thing because it does come off as a weak influence. Just my opinion. Just letting you know how it comes off. Tucker's Pitt. Pitt had only won 4 games and lost 7 straight before that. Tucker's Pitt, man, you're making it hard for me to defend you. I'm trying really freaking hard, but man, you're making it tough. Kessler said, West Virginia Prodigy, don't think we do it in football, maybe basketball. I would have to look. Yeah, I agree. Rice Farrell says, thoughts on West Virginia versus Texas on Saturday? Okay, yes. Let's get back to that real quick. Here's the thing. If West Virginia plays 2 complete halves like we saw the very end of the second half against Oklahoma State and the first half against Kansas, I think West Virginia wins. The question is, can West Virginia do that? I don't know. Kansas, great first half, terrible second half, got blown out. Oklahoma, terrible first half, great second half, came back from an 18-point deficit, but still fell 14 points short, or 4 points short. Oklahoma State, terrible first half of the second half, and then a crazy second half to the second half. And West Virginia pulls off a 19-point comeback with 11 minutes and 15 seconds left in the game. That was crazy. So the question is, can West Virginia learn to shoot the ball like they're capable of shooting for 2 halves? Well, that's going to fall on Texas's defense. And Texas does have talented bigs, and they can shoot the ball well. It is in Morgantown. That helps, that definitely helps West Virginia. Adjustments, I think, favors Bob Huggins. But Shaka Smart's a good coach, but I think Bob Huggins is better at making adjustments. I mean, just look at half to half from Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. So as far as the game on Saturday, it all depends on how well we can shoot and consistently. So here's my scenarios. I can't really make a prediction at this second because we've seen 3 different West Virginia teams show up, so it's hard to tell. But I will say this. If we can play 2 complete halves and shoot the ball not lights out, we don't even have to shoot the ball lights out, just not 20% like we did in both first halves of Oklahoma State. If we can shoot 35%, 40% the entire game, we'll win the game. But if we have a stinker of a half, one of the halves, shoot 20, 25%, we'll probably get blown out of our own building. So I think we're learning our lesson. I'm leaning towards Texas in a close one. But if we can, because you got to realize without Sheway, we didn't lose a lot of production, okay, with Sheway. He wasn't playing maximum effort. But we lost Sheway and Cottrell. That's depth. That's 2 guys, 2 talented guys out of our rotation. So that shrinks our depth. So will we have the energy to have 2 complete halves? I think being in our building against the number 4 team in the nation, I think we will have the energy. But, man, I'm going to take Texas. I hate doing it, but, I mean, they obliterated Kansas. We can't ignore that. They freaking obliterated Kansas, and Kansas beat us pretty good too. They barely beat Iowa State. I know that, but we barely beat Iowa State as well. Texas is on a hot streak. I hope I'm wrong. I thought the Oklahoma State game was going to be a loss because I said being on the road back-to-back with only 1 game of rest in between was too short of a time to make any great adjustments. They proved me wrong in that game, and I was happy they proved me wrong. Well, I mean, they proved me right for 3 quarters of the game, but the last quarter they proved me wrong. So I hope they prove me wrong again because I think Texas is even more talented than Kansas, and we are even more shorthanded than we were against Kansas. So it's going to take maximum effort, 2 full halves to beat Texas. If we can do that, we will win. I'm just not sure we can do that against Texas. Texas is deep. Texas is big. I'm going to take Texas by 6. Let's see. Yep, exactly right. Riley Sparrow might be hard with no Oscar and Cottrell. I wasn't even seeing that comment, and you took the words right out of my mouth. Um, let's see. I usually don't use the ref thing, but seriously, anyone who watched the game will tell you. All right, I'll give you a pass, man. I'm gonna go back and watch that game and give you my opinion because you seem like legitimately it bothered you, and I'll be honest, I haven't heard you use the ref excuse, so there might be something to that. Prodigy says Pitt is so bad, bro. We would drag them in any sport at home and probably away. I mean, basketball, there's definitely a big talent gap. Football, I don't know. I know Pitt was up and down this past year, but they were a talented team. I think it would have been a good game. Of course, I'd take West Virginia. We were a much improved team as well. Sea Dog says, my point is we didn't get blown out, and we should have. Pitt struggled against our backups. I got you. I understand. Got you, bud. John Waffle, what's going on, man? WVU 1922 national champions. Oh, that's your full name. Dang. John Waffle, WVU 1922 national champions. Didn't see that coming. Michigan leads Ohio State series and still gets owned usually every year. That's a good point, but didn't see that one coming. Talkus Pitt, y'all can't troll anybody, even us Pitt fans. We are good at being a shitty. What he's saying is they are good at being a shitty team. They are good at it. So they're good at, his point is they're good at something and we just suck. Or no, he's talking to Georgia Tech. They just suck. We have a rivalry too, so he is probably talking to West Virginia. And Sea Dog is riled up and saying Tech is a sleeping giant. Prodigy says, I hope Oscar is going to Miami or Kentucky. Think. Okay, I got you. Self-claimed. Dude, you were confusing me. John Waffle, WU 1922 national champions. That is a long name and self-claimed. What are you talking about? Kelchner says, all depends on how we start. Yes, I think we can win. It just depends on Culver has another solid game. And besides Taz, we need some help. Someone else off the bench to contribute to. Here's the great thing about West Virginia basketball this year. We're actually a pretty good foul shooting team. That's what won us the game against Oklahoma State. We had to make those free throws down the stretch, and we did. Last year, we would have lost that game because we were terrible at free throws. So that's one thing that I'm thinking about that might give us the edge against Texas. But like I said, 2 complete halves, can't go 10 minutes without scoring, which is what happened, I believe, in the Oklahoma game. It was one or the other. Jim says, do you think you might do a video on the head coaching changes in football? Read my mind. And what do you think of the Vanderbilt change? That one's, I like it. The only issue I have with Vanderbilt, it's not really the coaching change. It's their academic standards. The reason Vanderbilt's not good is not because of coaching. It's because of their standards. It is so freaking tough to recruit high caliber, high skilled players at Vanderbilt. I think Urban Meyer would have issues at Vanderbilt. Would he have success? Yes. Would he get them to the playoffs? Probably not, and definitely not a national championship. So that Vanderbilt is a victim of their own circumstances. And a lot of people say, well, why don't they kick Vanderbilt out of the SEC? Smaller school, not a big stadium. Academics. They keep SEC in the game of academics. The SEC needs Vanderbilt because of their high academic standards. But that's why they're a terrible football team year to year. But they are a powerhouse baseball team. Go figure. They have most definitely invested way more money in their baseball program. Y'all need to Google a behind-the-scenes look to Vanderbilt baseball. That is jaw-dropping. I watched a documentary on YouTube about the money that they put into Vanderbilt baseball. what people don't realize is it's a cramped space. They have the football stadium literally hanging over, well, pretty much hanging over the baseball stadium. So they literally don't have room to expand, even if they wanted to, except at the end zones. So you have the football stadium, the baseball stadium, and then the basketball stadium. So it's like a triangle. And so the way they built that kind of screwed themselves because of expansion. Like they're up against each other. But what they did with their baseball program is they actually took the facilities underground. So a lot of their practice facilities actually underground, pitching machines. They have diagnostics. I mean, things that track, arm movement when a catcher or whenever a pitcher is throwing the ball, correcting their arm movement, placement of their legs whenever they're pushing off. They are the top of the top when it comes to baseball. They have great coaches, but the technology that they have at Vanderbilt for their baseball program is unimaginable. So whenever y'all have a chance to go check that out, it is worth a Google. And also another Google that's worth it is a flyover of the stadiums. Do a Google search of the flyover of their stadiums that are put together. It's very, very unique because it's all together. So y'all go check that out. It's really interesting. As far as head coaching changes, I did one earlier this year, and this was back in late October, early November. I predicted that Tom Herman was going to get fired at Texas. I got laughed at when I posted that in Texas Facebook groups, and it happened. I also said that Jim Harbaugh will be fired no later than after next year. They might give him one more year because of buyouts, but to be honest with you, it wouldn't completely shock me if Michigan fired him within the next month or so. So I'm keeping my eyes out to see if that happens. If it don't, I expect that too. So either they're going to fire him in the next month or he's going to get that extra year. And in my opinion, I think Michigan should bring in Hugh Freeze. Yes, he has baggage, but he shows he can. People forget about what he did at Ole Miss. They beat Alabama twice. I believe 2 10-win seasons or something like that. No, they didn't get to the playoffs. But for Ole Miss, they had historic seasons. He goes over to Liberty, and before this season, did anybody know about Liberty? I mean, we know they existed, but they weren't much of anything. They're an independent. They're not even part of a conference. What does he do? He takes them to a 10-win season, 1 loss. They beat Coastal Carolina in the Tear Bowl, which I predicted. And their only loss was on the road to a very good NC State team who finished the season undefeated. Or not undefeated. 8-3 in the top 25. Why did I say undefeated? But they had 3 ACC road games. At Syracuse, they won. At Virginia Tech, they won. And then at NC State, they lost on a blocked field goal. So they actually could have won that game had that field goal not been blocked. And Liberty would have had an undefeated regular season. That's amazing. Hugh Freeze is a good coach. And it looks like he's kind of straightened up from his shenanigans at Ole Miss. Only time will tell. But as far as coaching, wow. And off the radar, I will say this, off the radar, this is probably not going to happen. In fact, I'll say I'm sure it's not going to happen, but this is my opinion. Listen, Miami, the University of Miami, they need to get Tom Herman, okay? Here's why. Miami is a brand, okay? Manny Diaz, he's not doing terrible. He's doing all right. But Miami has the talent to be a great team. That defense had some big-time issues. The offense was dynamic, but the defense was not good. So the reason I think that Miami should bring in Tom Herman, number one, he is a good coach. Whether you like him or not, he is a good coach. But he also has an attitude, and he brings swag. And what's the brand of Miami? Attitude and swag. So that's why I think Tom Herman would be a better fit than Manny Diaz. Maybe keep him on as a coordinator of some sort because, to be honest with you, Manny Diaz coaching staff not all that great. Manny Diaz as an offensive or possibly defensive coordinator, I think that would work. But Tom Herman would be a great Miami football coach because he's a good coach and he has that attitude. That attitude didn't quite fit in with Texas. I mean, it didn't exactly, not, I mean, it wasn't a total disaster, but it just, something didn't feel right about it. But in my head, Tom Herman at Miami makes too much sense, to be honest with you. I mean, to me, it's a no brainer, but probably won't happen. Like I said, Miami is having decent success, but I think they could be better. Prodigy says, dadgum, I got backed up on the comments. I went on a rant, didn't I? Rise says, I'm going to go to sleep. Good night. See, I missed it. Sorry, bud. Good night, man. We'll see you next time. Tuggy Spit says, Pitt basketball is getting a lot better. We were down 5 players, and we still beat Syracuse. No seniors or juniors. There was legit all freshmen on the court tonight. I mean, yeah, I will give you that, but, dude, West Virginia is a really good team this year, even without Sheboy. I'm just going by this year. Maybe in the future, it does look like y'all are getting better. Kelsner says, why Miami? Has that been the rumor or something? No, it has not. Not at all. That is completely off the map. And like I said, probably won't happen. But his personality and his attitude, and he is a good coach, to me fits it perfectly. Prodigy says Miami versus West Virginia 2021. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I think that's what it's called. No. If that were to happen, I think that would actually be the Orange Bowl. I think it would be Miami versus West Virginia in the Orange Bowl. But yes, it could happen. Prodigy also says number 13, 10. Oh, again. Oh, so now he's going to rankings. Number 13, 10-3 Miami versus number 7, 11-2 West Virginia. That's believable. And I've actually had a conversation with one of my subscribers, might have been him, about how I thought West Virginia could have 2 or 3 losses next year. I think Oklahoma and don't sleep on Kansas State in the Big 12 next year. Kansas State is going to be a much improved team. I think it's going to be Oklahoma versus Kansas State in the Big 12 championship. So there's you an early prediction for the Big 12 championship. So those are West Virginia's 2 losses. Whether they pick up another loss that they shouldn't have somewhere could happen. We'll see. But I don't think that happens, to be honest with you, because we're taking steps. 2 games this year that we should have won that we lost, but last year we were getting blown out, and we won 2 games that we should have lost. So we're taking those steps, and I don't expect that to happen, but I don't think we'll contend for the Big 12 championship. Ergo, I don't think we're going to be in the New Year's Six Bowl, but I hope you're right. Chris Potts says, think about Michigan. Where does the program go? Is there really any better fit than Harbaugh? I think Freeze will head to the ACC or back to the SEC. Yeah, if Michigan doesn't pick up Freeze, he definitely will go back to the SEC, possibly the ACC. I like that question, though. Is there really a better fit than Harbaugh? Yes, there is a better fit than Harbaugh. Harbaugh belongs in the NFL. Harbaugh is a good NFL coach, okay? I just don't think he's a good Michigan coach. His recruiting class, first thing, his recruiting classes doesn't match the caliber of a program that Michigan is, okay? And then even with the recruits and transfers that he gets, he is not able to coach them up to a standard that Michigan is used to. I mean, look at this year. Did you really ask that question after what Michigan went through this year? That's all I'm saying. Michigan is better than Harbaugh. He was a good story in the beginning, and he had a good couple first years, but overall, not very good. I do think Michigan can get a better coach. I think Jamie Chadwell down there at Coastal Carolina would be worth a look. I think Hugh Freeze would be an excellent fit. I think Matt Campbell from Iowa State would be worth a look. Even the coach at Kansas State, the one that came from North Dakota State, that's a coach that Michigan needs to take a look at. And I know people are like, "God, I'm losing." What are you talking about? Look, he is rebuilding Kansas State, and they are looking better and better. And I expect Kansas State to contend in the Big 12. He's that coach that took that North Dakota State FCS to multiple national championships. He's an excellent coach. I think he would fit into the culture of Michigan very nicely. His attitude, his work ethic screams Michigan to me. And Upper Northwest, hello, North Dakota State, kind of the same type of region as Michigan. I know it's a little farther west out in nowhere, but it is Upper Northwest. So to me, that screams Michigan. I think he would be a good fit. I think his name is Klieman, Chris Klieman. So, yeah, that's where I think Michigan can look. Jamie Chadwell, Hugh Freeze, Matt Campbell, and Chris Klieman. That is a dude that is worth looking into. He is definitely under the radar. I'm going to read a couple more, then I'm going to get off here. I'm getting a little tired. I got to work tomorrow. Sea-Dog says, I hope Freeze goes to the ACC so we can get some strength. 0-6 bowl season is an embarrassment. Yep, I did a video on that. That was terrible. And then Talking Spit, I don't think we ever beat Michigan. I know we have played them, but it's been at least 50 years. Yeah, some of those it's been a huge gap. Oh, a Deaf Boy. I agree. I'm pretty confident in Will Crowder, but he's going to need to develop for a couple years. I wouldn't say a couple years. I think maybe 1 year. And same thing with Garrett Green. Well, I think Garrett Green's learning curve is probably a little shorter because he's been there longer. So we'll see about the quarterback situation next year. We all know that Austin Kendall is gone at West Virginia. He's in the transfer portal. We still have Deggy, Garrett Green, Will Crowder. I think we're fine. If Deggy starts, holding the ball too long or flat out gets, beat in the quarterback competition and he puts in one of the youngins, that's fine with me. I still think we take a step forward. I think the running game is going to be excellent. Remember, we get an excellent offensive line recruit from the 2021 class, 4-star, best in the state. Got the best in the state again, so you can suck it, Dana Holgorsen. You're a liar and an idiot saying you can't recruit any of the best players out of the state of West Virginia. Head coach Neil Brown has done it in back-to-back years. So stay over there in Houston and run that program into the ground. I don't care. You didn't deserve that money that you asked for. And then tell everybody that you walked out of that. What was the story that he walked out on West Virginia, or that West Virginia was the loser, when really it was the other way around. He asked for more money, and West Virginia's like, you haven't done anything. Go. And then we got head coach Neil Brown. What's happened? Holgorsen over there lost Derek King to Miami, running that program into the ground, gets obliterated in a bowl, even though they had a losing record, by Hawaii. So, yeah, have at it, Dana. Keep lying. Keep acting like you're the man. You suck. So, see, that's when exactly, a Deaf Boy. Houston really thought they got a steal because that's what Holgorsen acts like. He acts like he is a hotshot, and he's an idiot. He's like a pit bull. He's crazy. I thought he was a terrible pit. I think the only reason West Virginia got Dana Holgorsen is because we were going to the Big 12, and he was familiar with the Big 12. And ends to a mean. That's all I think. But fortunately, we got rid of him. Guys, if you're watching the live and you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. We have fun all the time. Myself, I do videos every single day. I don't do lives every day, but I do videos every single day. And I try to do lives probably 2 or 3 times a week. Very active. I love my subscribers. They're awesome, very engaging. Even on my regular videos, talk a lot. Have good conversations. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, you won't be sorry. Ask the other subscribers. Y'all have a good night, and I'll probably jump back on here either Friday or Saturday sometime before the national championship. And don't forget, my prediction for the national championship, score prediction, coming out tomorrow. Keep an eye out for it. Hit the subscribe button. Gold and blue, dude. We'll see y'all either Friday or Saturday. Have a good night.